real swing in the forecast. My next guest will know a lot about that, Kevin O'Connell. We've co-done the weather on different stations for years.
We have, since I was brunette, so it's been a long
me too, underneath. But
hey,
that's
under
another
any
story.
conditions, I'm taking the 51. And on a day like today,
Right?
wouldn't you think a bowl of hot oatmeal would probably go?
Or,
Yeah,
what about those Cheerios, right? How are you?
Good to see you, Linda.
I'm good. Kevin, you're here for a really good cause. Catholic health is so important in our community. We want to introduce your guest, who is Alex Foley.
Right.
But I know we were going to talk about some other things. March is Colorectal Cancer Month. But we've had something happen in the news that will make our discussion today quite timely.
Absolutely. And I think this is one of those kind of things that I'm very happy that Catholic Health is in a position that we can do something for Western New York. So I'm going to let Alex Foley, who is our coordinator of our stroke center, our award-winning stroke center out at Mercy Hospital in South Buffalo, kind of focus a little bit about actor Luke Perry. Now, where we are not his doctors, certainly, but he passed away from a stroke a little over a week ago. And I think a lot of people, all of a sudden, their antennas went up. How do I know if I'm a candidate for it? And what is a stroke? So what we did is kind of take our segment we were going to do, Linda, we'll put it on the back burner and talk a little bit about this young man, 52 years old, and Alex, that's a very young thing. What is a stroke?
So a stroke it falls into two different categories. It's either an ischemic stroke, which is where a blood vessel leading to or in your brain is blocked by a blood clot or a fatty deposit or a plaque that's broken off, and the blood flow isn't going where it needs to feed the brain, so that's an ischemic stroke. That's the most common type of stroke. And then there's hemorrhagic strokes, and hemorrhagic strokes are where a blood vessel bursts all of a sudden in the brain, and then the blood is bleeding into the brain instead of feeding the brain.
Give the folks just a quick thumbnail sketch. Are men or women are better candidates for getting a stroke or having one?
So they fall into a couple of different areas where we would say that people are more at risk. So as your age increases, you're more at risk for a stroke. So women overall are more likely to have strokes because they live longer than men generally.
What about the racial divide? Is there something where African Americans or people of color versus Caucasians would be better candidates?
So African Americans in the black community, they have a higher risk of stroke because they have different risk factors that lead them into that stroke area, such as high blood pressure and things like that. And the risk factor piece is the most important because strokes can be devastating no matter what age you are, and risk factors put you in that category to have a stroke more likely than someone else based on different things that are pertinent to you and your age. So younger women in particular who take birth control or hormone supplements and they smoke or they have migraines with aura, they're more likely to have a stroke than someone else who doesn't have those things going on at the same time.
You know, Alex, I'm glad you mentioned age because a lot of people thought Luke Perry at 51 or 52 was too young to have a stroke, and that's another misnomer.
That's correct. It can happen at any age and it can be devastating at any age.
Let's talk about time because everybody says, and we don't have a lot more here on the show this morning, but time is of the essence. And the Stroke Center out at Mercy has been designated as a comprehensive stroke center, meaning it's the best of the best. You can do no better, certainly, than our facility. Let's talk. Could our director put that graphic up once again, the tips that we were talking about?
BEFAST.
The BEFAST. So
there you go.
Yeah, so run us down this.
So the best of the best doesn't mean anything unless you know what to look for and what to do with that information. So knowing that you should look for anything that's all of a sudden a neurological change for someone.
Example?
Be fast. You want to think really fast and call 911. The sudden onset of inability to walk or balance problems. A sudden vision change with your eyes where you have double vision or blurred vision. Sudden facial droop or you know, one side of your face doesn't look like the other. You might be drooling a little bit. Arm weakness or leg weakness that's only on one side of your body, or numbness and tingling, or not being able to use those motor skills the right way. Then you have speech, which is slurred speech, difficulty finding the right words, not using words appropriately, and then time. You need to call 911. Don't waste time trying to take yourself to the hospital or driving. You need to call 911 so that the emergency personnel can call that hospital, make sure that they're on the ready so that they can use those amazing diagnostics and wonderful surgeons and doctors and nurses to get you better.
And you have one of the best doctors in the entire country.
Dr. Gutterman is who I'm assuming you're talking about.
Lee Gutterman is the guy. And I got to tell you, Linda, and I know you've had Lee on the on the program before. And the nice part about this is this morning we're trying to give not only information that's important, but maybe life-saving.
Absolutely.
And Lee and his team out there are working constantly for better procedures and better ways of preventing people from having long-term effects, maybe after a stroke. So there's cutting-edge stuff going on all the time, and we've got plenty of examples on our website.
You sure do.
Which is?
It is, go ahead and log on to chsbuffalo.org. You can go ahead and get that poster, and you know what? You could save a life, and that life could be your own.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Alex, and thanks, Kevin.
It's good to see you.
Life-saving advice this morning. It's always good to see you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Linda.
Coming up.
I know. Every day St. Patrick's Day for me. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. Love it.